What's up, guys? Red Devil Ace, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I know it's been a long while since I uploaded anything on this channel because I've mostly been streaming on Twitch, but today is a good day, and I really wanted to make one of these videos specifically, which is an Ace's point of view video. And for this video, I wanted to talk about a film that released a couple of days ago called The Smashing Machine. Now, for any of those who are not aware, the Smashing Machine is an A24 film, which quite frankly is my most favorite movie studio because they made incredible films like Civil War, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Death by a Unicorn, Bring Her Back, Talk to Me, and a bunch of other films. And they have more upcoming films in the future, which I'm really excited about. Uh, the Smashing Machine is a biopic centered around the life of Mark Kerr, who is a UFC legend that was famous for his tenure during the bare knuckle skull and bones era of MMA specifically. And this video cleverly marvels around that sort of style of how MMA was in the past. And let me just say, it is one of the most emotional and kind of hard to watch films A24 has to offer. Now, Benny Safdie did an incredible job with this film because I can see why it got a lot of praise for his work. And a lot of people said that this was Dwayne Johnson's film debut because for years on end, Dwayne Johnson's been playing the same type of trope of character he's always played. Basically, charismatic, outspoken, buff, confident, and barely ever loses. And it just comes to mind that a lot of people say, oh, Dwayne Johnson will only play character if he never loses. Well, time. Thankfully, this film kind of gives that notion a big ol' greasy bird. Now, for starters, just get out of the way that this film does center around three specific events that's happened throughout Kurt's career, which is the Vale Tudo tournament. I think it was UFC 14 and Pride FC during 2000 2001, I think. And just right off the bat, since this film is primarily about an MMA fighter, the MMA scenes in this movie were incredible to watch. And just from the get-go, just the first few minutes of the film as the intro rolls on, it centers around one of those three specific events. And just seeing how MMA was in the past compared to how it is now, and the way Mark's been fighting these guys, it it was rough. Like, this just shows the endurance and the balls these fighters had during that era because it was all bare knuckle. It was one of those things that not everyone had the same type of handwear, had the same shorts, and like everyone had their own thing when they jumped into the ring. And like the bare knuckle strikes, the headbutts, the the type of offense Kerr brought to these guys, it I feel like if you would bring any modern day goat against Mark Kerr, Kerr would slaughter every single one of them in the heavyweight division. I feel like I can confidently say that outright. But of course, when it comes to the Smashing Machine, the action is only a part of the film because even though it does show a bunch of stuff or a bunch of good moments around Mark Kerr's career, this also settles around his personal life. And when it got to the personal stuff of Mark Kerr, it was rough. Like, just saying it outright, it was honestly rough. And the way that this movie was shot also kind of adds to the realism because A24, I feel like on some of their films, it's like through the lenses of anybody's camera because when it comes to movies like the MCU movies or Universal movies and stuff like that, it's always these wide tracking shots that can see everything of the actor. And the shooting in this film is like sometimes the camera has trouble like the camera keeps shaking. It looks like the cameraman has trouble focusing on the actor involved. is like through the lenses of an ordinary person, like through the lens of a fan recording with their camera, or when it came to the fight scenes, is like through the lenses of a cameraman that was on site at ringside. It just made the film a lot more atmospheric than that it intentionally meant, and I feel like that was done on purpose. But when it comes to the characters, Ryan Bader, one of the side characters, Ryan Bader as Mark Coleman was really fun to watch, and of course, the two main stars, Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt. And when it comes to Emily Blunt's character, I kind of forgot her name, but the way she portrayed a character that was supposed to be like the saving grace or basically the savior to Mark Kerr was done in a really good way, but the way Kerr and Emily Blunt's character kind of clashed kind of made me lose my breath a couple of times. And what I mean by that is that like any other ordinary relationship, they do tend to get into arguments, they do tend to bite their own heads off. Just the way these characters would interact with one another on good terms or on bad terms, it would be nice to watch and heartwarming, and also really scary because just like from her point of view, having to deal with Mark's insecurities and Mark's spiral after after the events of what happened in the first half of the film, and he just continues to going further and further down, you can visibly see her fall apart mentally and physically. And when it comes to Dwayne Johnson's character, Mark Kerr, he is the emotional pinnacle of this film. And in more ways than one, because you get to see him when he's all happy, when he's energetic to go, and he does not have a fear in mind when it comes to these sort of fights in this specific era. And also, there's the good side of Mark Kerr, there's also the bad side of Mark Kerr. And because of that, there was one specific moment in the film that really stayed in my mind, is that Mark interacts with a specific object, and the way they zoom in on the object with the background music, it it was foreshadowing like nobody's business. Like it was like the film telling you, yeah, make sure you get a really good glance at this specific object because oh man, he's gonna use this and it's gonna be a wild ride to just witness. And when it comes to Dwayne Johnson's portrayal of Mark Kerr, I don't think I've ever seen Dwayne Johnson act in such a way that has stuck on my mind as much as this did. Because when it came to Johnson's past roles as the Scorpion King, Luke Hobbs in Fast and Furious, Black Adam and Black Adam, and him on Red Notice, and what's in the film? Him in Central Intelligence, him in San Andreas. They were always, it was like the same type of trope. Like, Bald always knew what to say immediately, was confident in what he was doing, never misspoke, never stuttered, and it was always just kind of boring. Like, the more you see Dwayne Johnson in movies, the more he's like, oh, it's just Dwayne Johnson just in a different world. But in this film, he really brought his A game, and I can see why people say this is acting debut because he actually acted as a different person. Like there was times where Mark couldn't find the words when it came to when it came to the press conference scenes. Like he was kind of struggling on finding his words. He didn't know what to say in that very moment. He was nervous. Like you could visibly tell in his voice that he didn't know, he really did not want to mess up. And he kind of struggles with himself too, which is, along the lines of what happened to Mark Kerr in real life. And you just see his transformations. Like he really develops as a person, not as, the character, because since this all happened in real life, you can really see the development of Mark's character in this film. How he goes from this I guess naive fighter, and then once reality hits him hard in the head, he the way they portray Mark's problems and issues, it's like they've done such a good job it almost feels uncomfortable just seeing Mark do this to himself and how it affects the people around him. And it was an overall blast to watch. Like, I would honestly put The Smashing Machine up there with one of A24's best movies. And even though there's been reports that it bombed in the box office, I still very much enjoyed The Smashing Machine. I thought it was a really amazing film to watch. And I think it's still out in theaters. So if you guys, so if I upload this video fast enough and if it's still in theaters, please go treat yourself to a really awesome story. And it just comes to show just the lessons that I've gathered from this film, that you can be at the top of the game because Mark was considered the best fighter in the world, bar none. And it just comes to show you can be at the top of your game, have everything you ever wanted, but it just takes one small thing and your whole world will just shatter like glass. And when it came to, like, how should I say it? When it came to the first instances that it kind of triggered Mark's downfall, the first time when it came to the fight and it was a bad call, I was fully on Mark's side because, it showed in the press conference how some moves were illegal. Then the guy Mark was fighting did the exact same illegal move. And yeah, but just the way Mark kind of took that, I was like, dude, what are you doing? This isn't the way you're supposed to handle yourself when it comes to stuff like that, because usually if you lose, big deal. Like, losses happen in MMA, in boxing, and in life. So it also just shows Mark's naivety that he can't really grasp with the concept of losing. And when he had these interviews with these Japanese reporters and the way he kind of described his mindset behind these fights, I'm like, are you sure that you want to have this mindset? Because when it comes to a career like MMA, you need to be prepared for anything. And this also kind of translates in life, that no matter what comes your way, you need to be ready for every single outcome. And when you go like this, your brain, when it comes to the process, your brain just needs to branch out when it comes to this specific job. And Mark, like, as soon as he's asked these questions, his mind deviates to one specific way, and it was honestly kind of unsettling and kind of uncomfortable to listen to. Not that he would say anything bad; it's just he had full belief in himself, but the way he described his mindset when it comes to the thought of losing, it honestly kind of made me feel uneasy, because Mark Kerr is one of those people that he can back it up, but like I said before, anything can happen. And just these little instances of reality checks, it brought him lower and lower and lower, and it was struggling to watch without getting emotional. And thank God that he had a friend like Mark Coleman, because Mark Coleman in this film was like the best bro to Mark Kerr, which I'm sure he was in real life. But there were some instances where Mark Kerr felt like he was drowning. Coleman was there, to be the helping hand and to bring him back into the good side of reality, because Mark was just overwhelmed with the bad side of everything. But yeah, so if there's anything you can gather from the Smashing Machine, be ready for any sort of outcome that comes your way, and please have a good support group around you, because, oh man, I can see that each character in this film they really tried to help out Kerr when he was spiraling out of control, and especially Emily Blunt's character, because there was one moment that comes to mind where they were getting ready for a special event. They got into an argument, and fuck's sake, her character goes into a room, grabs something. She grabs something, and she's about to do something with it, and my the air leapt out of my lungs, because even though I kind of knew that she wasn't going to go through with what she was planning to do, it still shocked the absolute shit out of me when she was about to do what she was about to do. I just don't want to say what because I want people to actually watch this film. It was emotional as all living hell. But if you want a movie that you can feel something with, The Smashing Machine is the perfect movie for that. And again, I don't know why this bombed to the box office because a lot of people has been praising it, but I very much enjoyed it. When it comes to The Smashing Machine, from a scale of 1 to 10, I would honestly give this an 8. Like there were some things that kind of didn't work per se, but they were just little things. But overall, everything else, the casting, the acting, the camera shooting, the directing, the the production of this film was absolutely astronomical. It was amazing. It's like you go back in time with this film, and it was awesome to just witness. But yeah, that's all I wanted. That's all I wanted to say for this video. If you liked my point of view of the Smashing Machine, please leave a like down below, and comment what you thought of the Smashing Machine down below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Share with all your friends and family. Each one really counts. It always makes my day. I am planning to do another Ace's point of view after this one, and it's the Ace's point of view I make on this one is a lot more emotional and a lot more messed up, if you know what I mean. And there is one specific movie that I want to talk about in the future, but I'll wait until it comes out. And once I make the video on that, you'll know which movie I'm talking about. But it's gonna be the one after the next one I'm gonna record. But yeah, yeah, it's been a while since I made one of these videos, so I am kind of a little bit rusty on what to say in front of the camera. If you want to check out more stuff of mine, I do stream a lot. I do stream more than I do record on Twitch. That's on at Red Devil Ace without the one. It's Red Devil Ace with a number 1 at the end. I stream horror games, fighting games, action games, just any game that seemed like good fun with a couple of friends of mine. And if you subscribe to my Twitch channel, you also get access to my Discord server, which I am planning to hopefully build a small community out of with the server. And if you like anime, if you like video games, please come by on Twitch. I'll leave a link to that in the description down below as well. And like I always like, it blood boiling and the heart pumping. My name is Red Devil Ace, and I'll see you all next time.